What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another Arsenal therapy. We are here, we're back there again. Somehow we always end up back here, 2022, yet here we are again. It is a slightly different Arsenal therapy to usual. Usual, I'm on here ranting and raving about how bad we were and how we got destroyed and, you know, how everything's going wrong. Today is a little bit different, but equally as painful, I'll tell you that much, people. Equally as painful. We missed a huge opportunity yesterday, in my opinion, and I'm still annoyed with what happened yesterday. Very annoyed because, you know, I think Manchester City were there to be beaten yesterday. I've got to be honest, people. When you weigh up the way that game went, I watched the entire game again this morning, just so that I was ready, you know, so we could really see it properly. And City were there to be beaten. City were there to be beaten. Manchester City had 4 players out with COVID. They'd played on Thursday against Brentford. We'd had a week off. They didn't look like they could handle our pressing, and they were there to be beaten. We probably needed the second goal. And then, in true Arsenal fashion, we imploded. Unfortunately, we imploded. And I know everybody, and I get it. Everybody is saying Stuart Atwell, the referee. The referee cost us the game, and he's the reason we lost. I think we've got to look at ourselves more than the ref. I do think the referee was poor yesterday. Don't get me wrong. I think the referee was poor and they should investigate that performance. But I think we have to look at ourselves before we look at that referee for yesterday's game. And I'll explain why. I know some of you might be going, no chance, it's the ref. But we'll delve deeper into it. Big up, Chris. Thank you for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate your support. And I will be doing a member stream tomorrow for anybody who is a member on the channel. Listen, you're going to hear what I think. I want to hear you come and tell me what you think tomorrow around the game. But MD said, I don't have it in me to watch that. No, listen, man, I have to, because sometimes when you stream the game and you watch in the comments, you don't see things properly. I watch the game back and see what was happening. We're going to run through a few things yesterday. As I said, people, the referee was poor yesterday. The referee was very, very poor. And I do understand the frustration from Arsenal fans towards the referee, 100%. But do not hide away from the fact that we threw that game away yesterday. We were still in a good enough position that if we'd have done our job right, I don't think the referee's poor performance could have affected us to the extent. As bad as that referee was, the referee never pulled Bernardo Silva to the floor. The referee didn't miss an 8-yard open goal. The referee didn't get 2 silly bookings that led to a red. The referee was poor. The referee was poor, there's no doubt. Stuart Atwell's a poor ref. You know what Stuart Atwell is. He's one of them guys that was probably a nobody in school. He got a position of power and he abuses it. He thinks he's some sort of army official. It's all about him. The best referees are the ones you don't talk about. They're the ones that just get through the game, do their job. They don't want no limelight and they go home. They're the best referees. The referees that want to be the headline maker, they're the worst referees. And Stuart Atwell wanted the headlines today and he got them. He got them. That's for sure. Don said, no, Curtis, the referee decided the game. See, I disagree with that. I honestly disagree with that. I think we have to take accountability as well. I think it's too easy to just say the referee did that. Granit Xhaka again. I know yesterday we discussed it. Big up to Fran and Laurie. We spoke about it after the game. In fact, I'm going to go into Granit Xhaka mode now. And no, you know, that doesn't mean I'm going to grab you through the screen and pull you down to the floor. We're just going to slow down the pace of the stream, people. So we're going to Xhaka mode and we will talk about the game. We're going to look through a few of the highlights from yesterday, unfortunately, due to a few things that have happened over the past few weeks. I can't actually play the footage, but we will just deal with still images today, people, whilst we review a few highlights from yesterday. So, Craig said, Curtis, stupidity cost us the game, and I agree. I agree with that. I think we were our own worst enemy more than Stuart Atwell, and I'm going to explain why. Xhaka's a liability. Granit Xhaka will never not make mistakes, the kind of player he is, 100%. No Thomas Partey mode today. That guy was an absolute beast yesterday. We'll speak about that in the player ratings. He was sensational yesterday. Chris, appreciate you becoming a member, said, sorry, Curtis, I'm a Man United fan. Appreciate your work. Looking forward to your member stream tomorrow. Big up, bro. And like I said, members, feel free to get on. Give me your opinions. Alex said, really rate Fran's point of view. But let's be honest, he started the implosion. Yeah, 100%. And listen, I big up Fran every time and Laurie with their opinions, but I didn't agree with that one in terms of the Xhaka one. But let's continue. This was the first major headline. This was the penalty. Or not penalty. The Martin Odegaard one. Now, the crazy thing about this one, I watched this probably 5 or 6 times after the game because, as I said, when I'm on stream, I don't see these things too well. And when I was watching it, I wasn't sure whether it was a penalty. From certain angles, I was like, because someone messaged me saying, Odegaard stood on Ederson's foot. There was a certain angle where it kind of looked like he got the ball. And it does look different from different angles. I think what you have to remember is that they don't use still images, really, do they, VAR? They play the video. Because when I stop this image here, if you look at that, that is a penalty. That's a pen. His foot is in front of his. Ederson's studs are showing. They connect him with Odegaard's foot. He doesn't make any contact with the ball. But VAR, for some reason, doesn't do that. They don't stop it. They just play it. And when you play it, I watched Match of the Day last night. Anyone that watched Match of the Day last night, when they're playing the video from certain angles, it doesn't look like a penalty. When you slow it down, stop it, and particularly this angle, you're like, that's a pen. That to me on the screen there looks like a pen. But as I said, this is VAR, not Stuart Atwell. And trust me, I'm not defending the ref. The ref said no pen. VAR said no pen. So VAR should have been the one to give the decision. When you freeze frame these things, I think you get an indication of what's happening. But when you play the video, it's a little bit different. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. What I will say, when you play the video, I don't think it looks as clear as when you stop it. Do you know what I mean? And VAR don't tend to do that. They will play it, and that makes it a bit different. I think, we were hard done by it. I think you could have quite easily given a penalty for that one. The next one here was the goal, Saka's goal. What I love about this goal, and obviously I can't play the whole goal, I'm afraid, was I love the fact that Lacazette, and I spoke about this yesterday, I love the fact that Lacazette blocks Nathan Ake. The ball's been passed in by Tierney. Saka's running onto it. Ake is trying to run and block the shot of Saka. And Lacazette, he was about a yard to the right of Nathan Ake, and he just drifts in front of him and stands there and said, listen, bro, you ain't getting that ball today. And he just slots it in the bottom corner. It was fantastic. And, it was epic scenes, people. I actually felt we were going to win the game at this point. We were excellent. Roughhousing by Lacazette, very clever, great finish. Lacazette said, stay there, boy. I mean, Nathan Ake got ram ragged the whole game, although he did make a great clearance. Lacazette is so valuable, 1 more year. I mean, the question is, I think he wants more than 1 year. This is the problem. But like Abhinav said, assist Tierney plus Lacazette, 100%. But yeah, great finish from Saka. The move, it was almost Pep Guardiola-esque It was a goal you'd expect to see from Manchester City. 4 or 5 passes, split them in half. Saka runs onto the ball, slots it into the bottom corner, and I'm thinking today's going to be an absolute epic stream until dun 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 dun. Granit Xhaka moving like Jaws, mate. When you see Jaws in the water, you're just swimming in the sea, mate, and Jaws turns up. It's like, everyone starts screaming. Granit turns up, mate. It's like Jaws. You can just see that fin. You see that fin just above the water, and oh, man, I'm in trouble. That's what Granit's moving like Jaws, mate. When you see Granit, you know you're in trouble. This is where everything starts to go downhill. This is where everything starts to go wrong, people. Why always Xhaka? Next time he scores, he should lift the t-shirt up. Why always me? I want to make one thing clear here. I want to make one thing abundantly clear, in my opinion, and I want your opinions on it, guys. This, for me, even as an Arsenal fan, it's hard for me to say this. This is a penalty. This is a penalty. Now, I know what a lot of Arsenal fans are going, yeah, but he was already falling over. He does not need to grab his shirt. Because Bernardo Silva, he's done him with the bit of skill. There's a bit of a coming together, but I don't think the referee or VAR are going to give this penalty if Granit Xhaka does not grab his shirt and pull it. I don't think this penalty is given. But Mr. Jaws, Granit Xhaka, decides, I'm going to grab him. The crazy thing about this, Granit Xhaka's waving one arm saying, no, ref, no penalty. With the other arm, he's pulling his shirt. What are you doing? What are you doing? The one thing you don't do is give a referee a decision to make. You gave him the decision. Because when he goes over to that screen, all he can see is Granit Xhaka with a handful of Manchester City shirt. Don't touch him. He's going nowhere. Gabrielle's on the cover. He's going to the byline. Leave him be. But you grab his shirt. You give the referee the decision to make, and he gives it. Snake Eyes with the super chat. Big up, bro. He said, I blame Arteta. He continues to pick Xhaka, and he leads the league in cards. His position needs to be a priority in January. Xhaka will continue to kill us with these mistakes. I'm peed off like Fran. Caught red-handed. It wasn't me. Man's moving like Shaggy, bruv. Man said, it wasn't me. But they caught me on the camera. It wasn't me. Yo, I'm telling you, man got caught red-handed. Man said it wasn't me. You're on VAR, bro. You know what I mean? Jaws settings. I don't know what's going off with Granit. He needs to relax. South London's finally said 100% a pen. Peter Walton said it. If he didn't pull him, it wouldn't have been a pen. It's a penalty. Is it a soft penalty? Yeah, it's a soft penalty. Is it a penalty? Yes. You can't grab a player's shirt. Doesn't matter if he's falling down, standing up, jumping in the air. You've grabbed his shirt, bro. And he's going past you as well. That's why it's even worse. David, thank you very much for your super chat, bro. I hope you're well. Said, Happy New Year, Curtis. That game made me really angry because we did the usual Arsenal thing. We need to get players ASAP to push for the top 4 battle. Too many times we get in this position in the table and don't reinforce. And this is where my... Do you know what? I enjoyed the debate yesterday after the game. Me, Fran and Laurie. Even though we saw things a little bit different, it's good entertainment and it was good to discuss and talk about. I believe that football reputations stick with you. And I know the general feeling and the discussion was Fran kind of felt like Xhaka shouldn't be judged on what he's done previously. But I think football reputations stick with you. People now say that Wilfried Zaha dives. So even if he gets fouled, refs say, oh, get up. Do you know what I mean? Reputations do stick with you. Granit Xhaka has earned this reputation for a negative reason. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. So when he fouls people, they're probably thinking, well, it's Xhaka, it's a pen. So I think reputations do stick to you in football. I think it is unfortunate, but for me, it's a pen. Xhaka was panicked. I think he was. He seen Bernardo in, out, go past him. He was like, oh, no. He's probably grabbed him without even thinking about it. He probably didn't even mean to do it, but he's done it. That's the reality, and it's unfortunate. And for me, The sad thing is, and I want people to know that I don't have any agenda against any Arsenal player, even if I'm critical or banter a player. Whilst they're at the club, I want the best for them. I just think Granit Xhaka will let us down, and he continues to let us down. The sad thing is, even yesterday, Granit Xhaka had a really good game. He actually had a really good game yesterday. That's the sad thing about it. Xhaka had a very good game, but he's undone it by doing this. And the reality is, he does this time and time and time again. Why do Arsenal decide to ignore it? Why do they not replace him? Yeah, you can keep him if you love him, you think he's great around the changing room, but get an upgrade. Make him battle to get into that team. He can't be a guaranteed selection in the Arsenal team. He keeps making mistakes. He's only played 10 Premier League games this season. He's had 4 yellow cards and 1 red in 10 games already. You know, you can only let somebody keep making the same mistake and accepting it. They call that insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Rish said, which striker would you sign? I'd like Osimhen or Vlahovic. Both are very unrealistic, probably. I think Vlahovic will go elsewhere and Osimhen would cost a fortune. So it's going to be tough with the striker situation. Ebby1 Kenobi, big up bro, said, sorry Curtis, I'm on Xhaka's side slightly. He looked as though he was trying to pick him up as he felt him going down. And I'm a City fan. Bernardo stole the show. I mean, listen, bro, I respect you, yeah, and appreciate your comment, bro. But in football, I mean, if I see you falling over, I'm not grabbing you on the way down and trying to lift you up. Let the man fall to the floor, bro. You know what I mean? So if he was trying to be polite, like, oh, here you go, Bernardo, I'm just going to drag you back up to the floor because you're diving. He ain't got no business doing that. Let the man drop to the floor, bro. You know what I mean? He's got no business doing that. Sol said Xhaka isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And I think you have to ask question marks about the manager as to why that's the case. Why is he not being upgraded, you know? Ziggy said, we have 100 red cards. Arteta needs to fix this issue to be a top manager club. You know, the unfortunate thing with Xhaka can have good games, which he does, and then spoil it with a moment of madness. You can't afford, you know, he hasn't eradicated that out of his game. If he'd done that, you could stick with him, but he doesn't. He doesn't. Captain Sal says Xhaka needs to go. I don't think any other big club in the Premier League would put up with what he's doing this much. Fran's point, we shouldn't just blame Xhaka for the whole game. Think Gabrielle's decisions were more costly. I understand that, although we are going to talk about that because that has changed slightly. I was fuming with Gabrielle more because I thought Gabrielle had stamped on the penalty spot and got booked. Having watched Match of the Day last night, he was not actually booked for stamping on the penalty spot. So we will talk about that. Trackformer said, when will fans understand it's not mistakes anymore? He is just that bad. And that to me is what I was kind of trying to discuss, is that this isn't a one-off. It hasn't happened 2 or 3 times. It's happened 9, 10 times. If you keep doing something, it becomes a habit. It's not a mistake. That is my frustration with Xhaka. He's not a terrible footballer, but the mistakes ruin all the good that he does, unfortunately, you know? Xhaka is a lost cause, should be set free into the wild. We can't be having this type of player no more. He's meant to be a leader, but he can't lead himself. Sean said, how many more mistakes does the manager need to see before he bins Xhaka? Even Wenger admitted not signing Kante was a mistake. I think we all know that, you know, that was a huge, huge mistake. Not signing N'Golo Kante, man, what a player. Let's move on from Xhaka. And listen, I don't want anybody to think that I'm blaming Xhaka for the entire game. What I'm saying is cause and effect. No penalty means no equaliser. You know, all little things lead to each other at the end of the day in football. Jerry said, remember Maguire pulling down Tomiyasu? Yeah, I do remember that, actually. I do. The thing with that, it was from a corner. And, you know, it's a bit harder for the referee to see it. The whole focus is on this situation because the ball is there. Make sure you lick that like button, people. Over 1,000 of you in here. And subscribe if you haven't already. Big up to everyone who tuned in yesterday. We got 62,000 views for the watch-along yesterday and over 2,000 likes. And we're only now 300 away from 40k subscribers, so big up to all of you. But let's move on from Granit Xhaka. I don't want people to think I'm scapegoating, but listen, as I say, people, if somebody keeps doing something, that's a habit. That's a part of their game. This isn't a one-off. These aren't mistakes that happen every now and then. This is a regular occurrence. So for me, Arsenal should be upgrading him in this January transfer window. But will they? Probably not. We have to talk about this. Because the crazy thing about this whole situation, right, is that Martinelli yesterday was absolutely unplayable. He ripped João Cancelo to bits. And João Cancelo is rated as one of the best right-backs in Europe, along with probably Trent, Reece James, and whoever else outside of the Prem. He got ripped apart yesterday. Now, there was two interesting incidents here. Stuart Atwell runs in front of Martinelli. I wish I could play this, but a second or two before, Stuart Atwell is behind Gabrielle Martinelli. And then all of a sudden, he runs in front of him as if he's about to tap it in himself. Now, maybe he's running in front of him so his view isn't blocked. I don't know, but the man runs in front of Martinelli. And then a second later, the ball breaks to Martinelli. Referee has to duck out of the way. Martinelli has to run round him. And Martinelli misses a sitter. Now, that is, this ref, mate. He should be in League 2 next week. Seriously, man. He should be in League 2. To be fair, that's the closest anybody got to Martinelli the whole game. He's actually getting in his way. But having said that, even though that is some dodgy business. He might have had an old Manchester City shirt underneath there, I'm telling you. But let's not hide from the fact, people. Martinelli's got to score. Martinelli's got to score. We can talk about the ref. The ref's shocking. It's the end of story. The ref's shocking. He's a joke. Martinelli's got to score that. Let's not treat people different because of who they are. If Aubameyang missed that a couple weeks ago, people will be destroying him for that, saying, how does he miss? Ascar said, Big C should jump onto Twitch. None of this copyright stuff. Play all the clips you want. We're gonna look to get started on Twitch in the new year. We'll still be doing YouTube, of course, but we are gonna look to do Twitch as well. Lawrence said Cancelo also played 2 days ago and got mugged 1 day ago. Yeah. To be fair, difficult circumstances, but doesn't make it any less painful. But he did rip him apart. He still ripped him up. We have to give Martinelli his flowers. But let's make no mistake about it. You got to score that. You got to score that. 8 yards out, open goal, Nathan Ake's in the net. Ederson's nowhere to be seen. Just put your foot through the ball. And anywhere over here, it's in. Just side foot it towards the goal. Back away. He hits it. His foot is open. And it comes off his foot and clips the outside of the post. Absolute pain. Absolute pain. If he scores, I believe we win this game, says Jansen. And the crazy thing is, 30 seconds later, the game disappears. The game disappears, people. Because we know what happens next, and that is Gabrielle. Now, I'm going to talk about Gabrielle because I don't want people to think that I'm purely blaming Granit Xhaka. My frustration with Granit Xhaka is because you're an experienced player. He's a 29-year-old. He's been the captain of Arsenal, captain of Switzerland. He should know better, and he's not learning from his previous mistakes. We was going crazy about Gabriel yesterday, in particular Fran. Now, the crazy thing was, I watched Match of the Day last night, and I couldn't believe that Gabriel was not booked for kicking the penalty spot. I actually didn't know until I watched Match of the Day, and Ian Wright was discussing it. Gabriel was booked. After Mahrez scores the penalty, Gabriel goes running over to the referee, says something, and he's booked for dissent. Now, I don't know what he said. We know that if you swear at refs, you tend to get booked straight away, or if you call the ref a cheat or something like that. I don't know what he said. Dissent is, the referee was very quick to book him. As soon as he ran over, he said something, booked him straight away. Now, I can't comment too much on what happens because we don't know what he said. It's frustration, it happens. It's still poor. This one here is naivety from Gabrielle. It's naivety. And I've bigged up Gabrielle a number of times. I actually gone as far as to say I think he's the best centre-back we've had since Sol Campbell. But if he doesn't get these rash little mistakes out of his game, it's going to ruin his time. It's going to ruin his time. I saw an interview with Rio Ferdinand on BT. He said, the best defenders don't defend with emotion. And I think Gabrielle was playing against Gabriel Jesus thinking, you know what? I'm going to rough this guy up today. I want to get in that Brazilian team. I want to really prove a point today. I'm going to rough up one of the Brazilian strikers and show him what I'm about. I still think, even though we blocked off Jesus, I still think it's a bit of a harsh yellow card when you consider what Rodri was doing throughout this game and not getting booked for. I still think the ref could have said, listen, come here. You've already been booked one more time and you're off. It's like he couldn't wait. You look at the situation. Gabriel Jesus has chested that down, turned him. The ball is going into this space. I don't even think Jesus is going to get the ball. There's defenders there behind him. I think the ref could have taken a dimmer view of it. Now, I know I'm an Arsenal fan and people will go, oh, you're only saying that because you're biased. But when I saw what he let Rodri get away with in the first half, Saka goes through Rodri and Nathan Ake. We're on the counter-attack. Rodri takes him out and the referee calls him over and had one quick conversation with him and didn't book him. Now, why is Gabriel not being given that same luxury? Gabriel Jesus is not getting that ball. So, listen, I don't know. If he gives Rodri the yellow card and gives Gabriel the yellow card, I'm not arguing because I'm going to say, do you know what? The consistency is the same whether you agree with it or not. But when you've let Rodri foul us time after time after time, and then Gabriel does this straight away, you're booking him, then I'm sorry, this is where I do question the referee because there's no consistency. If you're a harsh ref, be harsh the whole game. And if you're a lenient ref, be lenient the whole game. You can't be harsh on Arsenal and lenient on Manchester City. That's cheating. That just means you're a cheat then. And to me, I thought there was cheating going off yesterday, I'm afraid. Gabriel knew in the first half, because he didn't get booked, he could still be really aggressive in the tackle with us in the second half. Where if he'd have got that booking in the first half, he couldn't have played like that in the second. LG said, stopping a potential attack, technical foul, second yellow for me. All I'm saying, listen, I just want Rodri to get the same treatment. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I do think it's poor defending from Gabriel. And listen, Gabriel has to learn. Gabriel has to learn because he's done this before. He got sent off against Southampton. He's had yellow cards in this position before. He does not need to always win the ball. The best defenders don't always have to win the ball. He could have just delayed Jesus there. Instead, he's dived in and clattered him, stuck the arm out and pulled him. It's silly behaviour. And listen, he has to learn because I'm a big fan of Gabriel, but it doesn't mean we can excuse poor behaviour like that. One more thing that I want to talk about before we go on to the player ratings is this, and this has not been spoken about. Rob Holding. For all that went wrong yesterday for Arsenal, as bad as the second half ended up going, and getting a man sent off, giving away a penalty, Arsenal should be sitting here today with a point. We should be sitting here today going, you know what? Despite that cheating ref, despite Granit Xhaka giving away a penalty, and despite Gabriel's moments of poor defending. We should be sitting here with 1 point today saying, you know what, great performance, great spirit, down to 10 men, you grab a point against the best team in England. A little dinked pass over the top that wasn't even that great a ball from Kevin De Bruyne, and Rob Holding does this pathetic, measly header, and it leads to us losing the game. Rob Holding heads this ball to Aymeric Laporte over here, who is near the penalty spot, because he hasn't moved his feet in time and he's done some silly header and headed it straight to Laporte. Look at him there. Head that ball away, please. Time that header properly. Look where he's headed that ball. He's, you know what? Rodri should have been heading the ball there, trying to knock it down to Laporte. Imagine, out of all the players, all that attacking talent that Manchester City have got, Sterling, Jesus, Mahrez, players that weren't even there yesterday, Foden and all of that. The two players that Manchester City had in the box was Aymeric Laporte, a centre-back, and Rodri, who is a deep-lying playmaker. We've got 5 defenders in the penalty area and the goalkeeper. And Rob Holding flicks it on to Aymeric Laporte. Laporte hits the shot. It's blocked by Ben White. And still, after that terrible header from Rob Holding, he hasn't recovered, even after the header, and moved and got on the right side of him. Look, the ball has just broken back to Rodri, and Holding is basically behind him. He's got his left hand on Rodri's back, while Rodri's toe poking the ball in. It is absolute Bob Boldin at his worst, mate. It doesn't matter what hairstyle he's got. That is awful defending. In the 93rd minute of a game where you've given absolutely everything. Win that header, head it away. City are down to desperation here. The centre-back's in the penalty area just trying to, get a scrappy goal. And he can't win the header properly, flicks it on, and we end up losing the game. It is shocking defending. And this is why people like Rob Holding are not good enough to be at Arsenal Football Club. That is simple, basic defending. Even after that poor header, he should have quickly reacted and got back in front of Rodri, but he doesn't. Rodri's there. Oh my God, I'm 7 yards out. The ball's right in front of me. I'm just going to toe poke it, and it's in, and the game's over. Anthony said we need Saliba to solidify the back. 100%, man. Saliba needs to be back in this Arsenal squad or team next season. 100%. New 4-year deal that guy got last season, Rob Holding. Awful defending. Not spoken about enough. So for me, I think as much as we look at the ref, I think we cost ourselves a lot of that game yesterday. I think a large percentage of it is us, and some of it is down to the ref. But, we missed a huge opportunity. And I got to be honest, I'm still gutted. I'm still gutted that we didn't win that game. The first half, let me just say now, the first half is the best I've seen Arsenal play in a long, long time. Even though we've beaten Manchester City in the FA Cup, we beat them being dominated. City dominated us in that FA Cup semi-final. We hit them on the break and won the game. We were dominating Man City yesterday. We looked like the team that, would be title challenging or whatever. We looked like a great team in the first half. And second half, we imploded. So I want Arsenal fans to feel positive. I want Arsenal fans to feel like we're moving in the right direction, that we can achieve something, that the players are buying into what the manager wants. That is all massively positive. The only downside for me, and maybe I'm a little bit too harsh at times, people, but I can't help it, because football is a harsh game. It really is. In sport, you've got to take opportunities if you're going to achieve great things. That's the only way. We can't keep missing out on opportunities. We keep getting into a great position where it's like, right, you're nearly there. You can establish that. We went to Old Trafford when United were on the ropes. We should have beaten them. We didn't take that chance. We should have beaten Everton. We didn't take that chance. We should have beaten Manchester City yesterday, and we didn't take that chance. So for me, even though I'm very proud of the performance and the club and the fans and you know, the Emirates was rocking yesterday, I'm still very disappointed that we didn't take the opportunity, because to me, top level sport is about taking opportunities when they present themselves. Arsenal should have got at least a point yesterday. So whilst I'm proud, I'm still disappointed, and I still think they have to understand and learn how to manage games. You know, there's a way to win games. You've got to manage a game and see a game out. I think if Man City go 2-0 down yesterday, they're done. They look tired. They played on Thursday. You know, they've had a lot going off. We look the fresher team. And like Munez said, it's the winner's mentality. You've got to demand. At half-time, players should have been sitting there saying, we have to win this game. I don't care how good Manchester City are. We've got them rattled. You know what I mean? But they'll learn. They're a young team. But that's where my frustration was with Xhaka, because Xhaka, you're 29. You're one of the leaders, you know. We've got rid of Aubameyang because we're being told the attitude's wrong. And we can't have that around these young players. Now, even if Granit Xhaka's got a great attitude in the dressing room, which obviously he must have because the manager loves him, those mistakes are equally as damaging to the team as a player turning up late, because they're costing us points. You look at the players yesterday, they look physically and emotionally exhausted. They were laying on the pitch at the end like, yo, I cannot believe we have dropped points. So they're going to have to learn. We play Liverpool this week, and I just really hope they can bounce back from that and, you know, make sure that they can move on quickly. Nick said, learn from extended contracts. One of the biggest things that I think we've done wrong in the last year is I really believed that we were moving on from those times of poorly managed contracts. When you think last year we've given Xhaka and Rob Holding new deals, and it's like, why? Did they really need to get new deals? Have they earned new deals? I'm not really sure they have. I think it was time to move on from both those players. But, you know, we'll have to see. Centurion said, Arsenal are a young team. Yesterday's game reminds me of City against PSG. PSG got rattled and fell apart. Yeah. And listen, I think one of the big things is, look, a lot of Manchester City fans have messaged me and said, listen, you know, that's one of the best performances I've seen against City this year. You've got a lot to be proud of. You're building, you're moving forward. And I love all that. I don't know. I don't like that kind of sympathy pat on the back. You know, there's something about it that I just don't like. Maybe it's a sense of entitlement that when I grew up, Arsenal were an actual champion. You know, but we have to take the positives out of it because it's a young team. But, you know, I still think go into that transfer market and improve. Tucky said, Curtis, the officiating in this country is not great, but you need to know as a team and not rely on it. Take accountability. Don't pull the shirt, Xhaka, and don't make silly fouls, Gabrielle. And that is where I'm at, 100 million %. Because if Xhaka doesn't give away that, if Gabrielle doesn't get sent off and we don't win that game, we know 100% ref. It's the ref, nothing else. But what we've done, we've given ourselves reasons to throw that game away, because if we do our job, we can still win that game even with a poor referee on the pitch. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's too far to just say we lost because of the ref. We have to look at our own mistakes. We missed an open goal. We pulled somebody down. We got a silly red card. They are things that we could have changed ourselves. The referee is poor, 100%. I think he's just on a complete power trip. But let's take accountability. The best teams don't rely on referees. The Invincibles hardly ever spoke about refs because they won games even when refs were garbage. And you find that the best teams, they talk about referees the least. So let's make sure we're one of the best teams, and then we don't have to care about how bad the ref is. But yeah, it was a painful one. It will hurt for a few days. But, we play Liverpool on Thursday, Carabao Cup. Unfortunately, I think Gabrielle will be suspended for that game. I believe an FA suspension can be used in the cup competitions. So I'm pretty sure Gabrielle is going to miss the game against Liverpool, which is massively unfortunate. We're going to get into the player ratings, people. You know the usual, people. Get your rating in there as well. Unfortunately, I'm not doing the Chelsea-Liverpool game today. Over the Christmas period, I just decided I wasn't going to do any watch-alongs that weren't Arsenal. Trying to spend time with the family. From next week, when everything kind of gets back to normal, we'll start doing the neutral watch-alongs again and all of that. So, yeah, we won't be doing a watch-along for that. Player ratings, 1,400 of you in the chat as well, people. So, lick that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's do the player ratings. We've got no waffle settings either because there's no press conference as of yet from Mikel Arteta. There was a short interview with AirPod Albert, but I'm not sure if Arteta will do a press conference. He did do a pre-match one. He hasn't done one afterwards as of yet. Aaron Ramsdale. It's an interesting one because Manchester City had 2 shots on target, so it's not like he had loads to do. He did make one mistake in the first half where he came out and missed a cross, but his kick for Gabrielle Martinelli was outstanding. I'm going to give him... He can't do anything with the goal. His kicking was great. It's a tricky one, man. I'm caught between a 6 and a 7. It's hard for me to give him a high rating. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I don't think he had enough to do for me to really say he was brilliant. The penalty is a guess. It's a guessing game. You go one way. In fact, yeah, we conceded 2, in fact. Yeah, so... but his kicking was fantastic. His kicking was brilliant. I'll give him 6.5. I think you concede 2. So I'll give him a 6.5, Aaron Ramsdale. Yeah, man, I've had to start squeezing halves in, man, because sometimes, it genuinely is. Tomiyasu at right back. I mean, listen, I think Tomiyasu yesterday was absolutely fantastic. I think what people have to bear in mind is Raheem Sterling, one-on-one with a fullback, is probably one of the best wingers in the Premier League. He's so sharp. I've seen Sterling play a number of times live, and you wouldn't believe how sharp he is on the turn. He's so sharp. And Tomiyasu pocketed Raheem Sterling yesterday. For me, probably, I would say our best defender yesterday. I thought he was fantastic. I'll give him an 8.5. He pocketed him, wrapped him up. He did absolutely nothing. And you know what? He's actually, at the moment, probably a better defender than even I thought he was. When we signed him, I thought, he's a steady, solid right back. But at the moment, he's looking like a great piece of business. He's even improving going forward. I would like to see him get forward a little bit more, but 8.5 for me. Yeah, the halves are running, man. 8.5. Pocketed Raheem Sterling, and not many people pocket Raheem Sterling, let me say that. Kieran Tierney at left back. Kieran Tierney, for me, is a tricky one because I saw Mahrez twist him up a few times, I'm not going to lie. Gives him that in and out little shimmy, but he did create the goal. The assist was very nice. And to be fair, Mahrez doesn't score from the couple of times he done him. I'm going to give Kieran Tierney a 7. It was a lovely assist. Sometimes with Tierney, he gets down the line and just whips that high cross in all the time. This time, he actually picked it out on the floor and he finished, which I thought was good. People saying he got exposed with 10 men, and I hear you, because what kind of happened, he was one-on-one with Mahrez a lot more often. He didn't have that support of Martinelli kind of in front of him, helping him. And I felt he got done a few times there by Mahrez. I can't lie. I gotta be honest. He twisted and turned him a few times, but once you're down to 10 men, it's very difficult. So we'll give him a 7. Gabrielle. What rating am I gonna give Gabrielle? I'm gonna give Gabrielle I'm going to give him a 5. I'm going to give Gabrielle a 5. Because what he's done has ultimately cost us. Doesn't need to get sent off. He gets booked on the first one for dissent. I don't know what he said to the ref. I'm assuming he swore or said something. Unless the ref was just on a power trip again. But the first one was for dissent. Initially, we thought it was for standing on the penalty spot. Having watched Match of the Day, it was for dissent. The second one is a needless foul. Just stand him up. I don't think Jesus is going anywhere. I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to give him a 4. The more I think about it, the more frustrated I am. He's let us down big time. He's let us down big time. He'll learn. He'll learn. But Reds cost you games, man. Even as bad as Xhaka is giving away the penalty, 11 against 11 at 1-1, we've still got a chance of winning it. The second he was sent off, I never believed we could win that game. I never thought you can beat Manchester City with 10 men. So I'm going to give him 4 out of 10. And he's got to learn quickly, because this ain't the first time. And I'm a massive fan of Gabrielle. But yeah, he let us down. He let us down big time. So he gets a 4 out of 10. Let's move to Ben White. Although Nick said never a yellow card. Ben White actually played quite well. I thought he played quite well. Made a mistake in the first 10 minutes where he let Sterling run off him. I think after that he was pretty solid. Pretty solid. He was let down a bit, I thought, by Rob Holding at the end. As I said, man, I think Holding should have done better with that header. Ben White's given so much there. Did do some very good tackles on Kevin De Bruyne as well. And I don't think Gabriel Jesus really did anything through the middle, apart from when Gabriel decided to wipe him out. So Ben White, I thought, was solid. I'll give him a 7. I thought he played well. Thought it was a good performance from him. Ben White, 7. Look, the best defender, went down to 10 men. He held it together, but he was let down by Boulding coming on and doing stupidness, really. Ben White robbed KDB for the goal. He did set up that attack going. I'm going to give him 7.5. I'll give him a 7.5. Let's move on. Let's go to the midfield too. I'm going to start with the negative one out of the two, which is Granit Xhaka. I mean, the sad thing, as I said, people, Granit Xhaka actually played well yesterday, but this guy will never learn. Now, I know some people say, don't scapegoat him, this, that, the other, but you don't understand. Some people, especially if you're not an Arsenal fan, this guy is so frustrating, it is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I don't think there's been a more frustrating player that's ever played for Arsenal. He just doesn't learn. I don't know why. He played well yesterday. Don't give away that penalty, and I'm bigging him up right now. But he gives away the penalty. He gets booked. It leads to a chain of events that takes the game away from us. We're here again. We've had this conversation time and time and time again about Granit Xhaka. He is beyond annoying. Sean said not even an Arsenal fan, but he annoys me. He's never going to learn. Asinawi said he's a decent player. He just doesn't have the mentality. Omar always makes mistakes. And this guy's extremely popular. And I don't quite know why. He's let us down too many times. Is Xhaka capable of a decent performance? Of course. But he's a ticking time bomb. And that is the problem. Xhaka doesn't learn. It will always come back around. It's like that roundabout, mate. Eventually, it will turn up again. GB said, facts, Curtis. I actually find myself disliking Xhaka. Never with any other Arsenal player since I became a fan in 83-84. Xhaka back to the Bundesliga. I'm giving Granit Xhaka a 5. I think Gabriel deserves lower than him because he got sent off. But Granit Xhaka gets a 5. And some of you may think that's harsh, but to me, I've seen this story time and time again, and for me, that was the domino effect that led to our demise. Giving away a needless penalty when I think Man City were running out of ideas. And this guy's in the leadership group as well. Let me move on from him because, you know, people go, oh, you're being too harsh on him. Nah, not for me. I've had to watch this guy for too long, people, making this same mistake over and over again. You know, how many cards does a man need to get before we realise there's a problem? I just want to let you know, Granit Xhaka is now on over 50 yellow cards. I mean, they're never going to learn. We'll never get rid of him. He'll be here for years to come, people. Let's talk about the big boy in midfield yesterday. Thomas Bomber Clark Partey, the general. Ain't it funny? He goes to AFCON this week. And before he goes to AFCON, he leaves us with prime Thomas Partey. Prime. We've been waiting for this Thomas Partey for weeks and weeks and weeks. He was absolutely outstanding yesterday. Beast mode. The best midfielder on the pitch yesterday. Xhaka, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Gundogan, whoever. Thomas Partey bossed the midfield. He was unplayable. Physical, won the ball back, seen him drop a little nutmeg on Bernardo Silva, flicking it over people's heads. Beast mode. We need consistency. We need to see that 2 or 3 times out of 4 games. We can't afford to see that once and then not see it for 6 weeks. Outstanding performance. Bear in mind he's playing against Manchester City. I'm giving him a 9.5, people. Giving him a 9.5. You ain't going to play against many better midfields than that. And he was outstanding yesterday. General performance. You know what I mean? We got to see it more. But man of the match. No booking. Played 90 minutes. I can't remember him giving the ball away at all. McLovin said Partey gave me PTSD of Kante in the Champions League final. I know he was trash before the City game. Listen, we all know, and I've said this all the time, Thomas Partey is capable of being a monster. We've seen it. It's just about consistency. If he can find that, we've still got a heck of a player on our hands, people. ABD said, Bellerin seems like a distant memory. Oh, man, Tomiyasu's a million miles away from Hector Bellerin. Nick said gaffer mode. I'm telling you, man was moving proper yesterday, man. That was, that was beast mode. Greg said the plan yesterday played to his strengths. Wasn't asked to be a holding midfielder and bossed it. And I hear you on that. And I almost wonder, and you make a great point there. When we play against teams who aren't as good as us, we dominate the ball. And I think sometimes when we dominate the ball, Thomas Partey doesn't look as good because we're asking him to get on the ball and make things happen. The more he gets on the ball, the more mistakes he makes because he's being asked to do more, pass more, dribble more, come and get the ball more. Manchester City dominated the game yesterday. It almost suited him to have less possession, go and win the ball back, make things happen quickly. So that's a very good point you make there, Greg. When we actually dominate the lesser teams, is Thomas Partey a worse player for us because we're asking him to be a ball player and that's not what he's really built for. So I think that's something we've got to look at. Is Thomas Partey built for counter-attacking football? Go and win the ball back and then turn it into an attack, So that's a great point, Greg. As KD saying here, Partey is very good in transition. Excellent point. South London's finest. We need a CDM to replace Xhaka. I think if you've got a CDM that's also capable on the ball, he can come and get the ball and start off the attacks. You can then allow Thomas Partey to play 10 yards further forward. I think you see a much better player. So yeah, I agree. Big up Ahmed, who said big up Curtly from Trenchtown. Big up, bro. Carrington said that Simeone system. Exactly. Sit back, defend, win it, spring on the opposition. I think that's what Thomas Partey's strength is. Snake Eye said, I'm sorry, Big C. It's going to take a bit for the loss to get out of my system. They were there for the taking. Xhaka. Listen, bro, that was painful. It still hurts now. I can't lie. I still can't believe we didn't at least get a point out of that game. Let's move on. And like we said, Bruno Ramirez, somebody like that for me. Basuma, There's options, but that's what we need. Rora said, imagine Partey and a Cazorla type. It'd be dream levels. Let's talk about the front four. We'll start with Martin Odegaard. Do you know what? I always do these player ratings off the cuff. I don't like sit there and write them down. I like to kind of do it with the community as we're going along. I'm looking at Martin Odegaard. I'm kind of in two minds about the rating, what to give him. He played quite well. But then I kind of feel like he didn't do that much at the same time. It's a bit of a mad one. I don't think he got on the ball much, which is understandable because, you know, City had 71% possession. And I think you need Odegaard to... You need us to be in possession for him to be doing well. Worked hard. Did he affect them much? I don't know. I'm a bit stuck on his rating. I'm kind of thinking between a 6 and a 7, somewhere around there. Very vocal. He played well yesterday. 6 for me. Came off early. That's what I mean. Obviously, the red card, we took him off. Cody Mr. Vikings was 6.5, 7. Led the press and was deserved to get a penalty, which wasn't given. Yep. And there you go, GB. Here you go, you see. That's the flip side. We're saying Thomas Partey might be better when we don't dominate the ball. Odegaard shines when we dominate the ball. So that is a great point. Again, he pressed a lot. He's kind of... Do you know what? I'm just going to be kind and give him a 7. It's probably a 6.5, but he did play a nice little role in the goal. Could have got the penalty. So, you know, in that sense, and he did lead the press well. I'll be kind. I'll give him a 7. Did get on the ball a little bit. But I would have liked to have seen him dominate a little bit more. 7 is generous. I'm trying to be kind to the player. All right, I'll give 6.75. We'll go to 0.5s now. We're going also. You know what? Just when I think back to the game, I don't think he was involved that much. Well, he did work hard. He worked hard, and I think the way we pressed, he was involved in that. But yeah, 7. I'm probably been generous giving him a 7, but you know, I'm trying to be kind. Mr. Cool Bush Driver said, you notice our best performances when the manager is not in the dugout. It's funny, I've seen a few people debating this on Twitter. I don't know how much we can make of that. Would they have played like that anyway? Or did they perform better because they didn't have a manager barking out constant instructions? I don't know. That's a question to put out there, you know. Let's talk about the two wingers. I mean, for me yesterday, these two bodied the fullbacks. I thought Nathan Ake got ripped. So we'll talk about Bukayo Saka. He was shattered at the end of the game. Scored again. Ripped up Nathan Ake. Would have liked to have seen him one-on-one with him a little bit more, to be honest. But I thought Saka was brilliant again. I've always said with Saka, he's got to add goals to his game if he's going to be a top winger. He's scoring goals at the moment. I thought he was brilliant again yesterday, Saka. Was really tired towards the end. He got booked as well. I'm not quite sure what he got booked for, to be honest. The ref just seemed like he couldn't wait to book our players. Wasn't quite the same with their players. I'm going to give him... What am I going to give him? I'm going to give him an 8.5, you know. Thought he was brilliant. Thought he ripped him apart. Scored a fantastic goal. And he was shattered. He gave absolutely everything. It's hard when you go down to 10 men to keep putting that shift in. Cody Misfire said, 8 booked for talking to the ref. The ref's a clown, mate. Mr. Modo said, rumour has it Gabrielle asked the ref why he didn't give the pen for the incident with Odegaard. Ref also lost his head. He even gave Saka a yellow. I mean, if that's true, that he booked Gabrielle for asking why Odegaard's wasn't given, that's a shambles. That's an absolute shambles. Because you've got every right to ask that question. So... You know, and that would put a bit of defence on Gabriel. But listen, I don't know. That's just the rumours. Sean said, Arteta for the press conferences and Albert for the game days. Yeah, but listen, I got a lot of credit for AirPod Albert yesterday, man. I thought he did well, man. They're calling him Albert Einstein now. Danny said, man of the match for me, Saka, like fresh water. Ake isn't a left-back, he's a centre-back. You still got to deal with him, and he has played left-back for Holland as well. So he's not incapable. This one is a tricky one for me. The next one, Gabrielle Martinelli. Gabrielle Martinelli, for me, yesterday, ripped one of the best right-backs in Europe apart yesterday. He ripped him apart. Now, I know people were saying, Man City fan earlier was saying, yeah, but they played against Brentford a couple of days earlier, and he's been robbed as well. Probably wasn't in a good frame of mind. But Martinelli can only deal with what's in front of him. This is a tough player rating for me, and I tell you why. On one hand, Gabrielle Martinelli has ripped one of the best right-backs in Europe apart. And, that run he went on in the first half where he runs about 70 yards on the ball. Oh, my days. And you know me, people. I love Martinelli. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think his potential is through the roof. The sad thing for me, though, is you've missed an open goal at 1-1. We go 2-1 up. Gabriel probably doesn't get that second yellow card then because that goal kick is not taken from you missing that chance. And that pulls down that rating. Anybody can miss an open goal, but we need you to score that. We're playing against the best team in the country, one of the best teams in Europe. You have to score. I know what people are saying. The ref definitely impedes him. But he's got to score it. So, look, I'm Martinelli FC. So I'm going to squeeze a high rating still because I think I'm still going to give him an 8, people. I'm still going to give him an 8. I know what some of you are thinking. What, Mr. Listen, man, the performance. He's got to score. He is absolutely 100% got to score, regardless of whether the referee is in his way or not. The ref gets out of his way in the end, and he's got to score. Am I being too kind? Give him an 8. We give him a 7.5. I give him a 7.5. Got to be honest. Give him a 7.5. Yeah, I was being a bit biased. I love him. The performance away from the goal is like 8.5, 9 out of 10. You've just ripped apart. But let's be honest, attacking players, it is about end product. I'm going to give him a 7.5 because I actually think his performance was probably an 8 or a 9 out of 10. But you've missed a sitter. Goals win games. It's an open goal. Let's go for 7.5. I got to be honest, because he has got to score. Tierney, well, Aubameyang, we kind of moved away now, the loyal, so maybe I'm Martinelli's loyal. Performance was great, but goals win games. You missed that open goal, I can't lie. Curtis, have you missed sitters before? We only see you chip goalies. Listen, man, we don't make videos of the chances we miss. That's all I can say, people. You see me chip goalies because I want you to see me chip goalies, I'm not going to show you the misses. Although I got to be honest, I don't remember ever missing an open goal. Ever. But hey, it is what it is. Man said Kurt and Ellie, you lot are harsh. I was trying to be positive, man, because I thought he played brilliant, But no, I can't lie. I can't be biased. Man's missing an open goal from 8 yards out. I gotta draw that rating down a little bit. You know what I mean? But listen, Cancelo, man, boy. You know what I'm saying? Man ripped him apart. Toy Story settings, Curtis dropping Aubameyang for Martinelli. You know what I mean? We've had, what's the cowboy, man? Woody. We had Woody, you just turned up with Buzz Lightyear, man. He's got buttons on him and to infinity and beyond. You know what I mean? We just dashed Aubameyang over the fence. You know what I mean? What's this? Buzz Lightyear, Martinelli? Yeah, I'm good with that, mate. Aubameyang, you do one. You know what I mean? Bumpy Johnson said, Curtis, bro, you're harsh. High standards, my friend, I'm afraid. I am a little bit harsh sometimes. Gabrielle Shaw, oh, man. Martinelli had the opportunity to pass twice. He's young, so I let it slide. Buzz Lightyear settings, man, I'm telling you. We all like the flashy new toy that's got a few extra buttons and stuff, you know what I mean? Let's talk about Laka. Laka blood clot Zet. Laka's a funny one for me. Laka's basically like he's getting the same rating off me pretty much every week because he's doing the same thing, and not doing the same thing, if you know what I mean. Now, Rowan, I can't lie. Listen, I like a comeback. I've got no problem if Aubameyang comes back and finds his way into this team, because I don't mind that. That can only benefit us even more. I don't think it's going to happen under this manager. Lacazette, for me, is an interesting one, because every time I watch him, I'm like, works hard, holds the ball up, links up play, doesn't really look that much of a goal threat. So I feel Lacazette has a ceiling, and he's at the ceiling. It's like he can't offer us more than what he's offering us. If Lacazette scored more goals, he would be unbelievable, because he's got the rest of the game, but he doesn't score enough. I mean, Topper's saying Lacazette's a team player. He's not in the team for goals. I still think he needs to score goals, though, because we're still not at the point yet with our wingers. Even though the wingers are scoring more goals now, it's not like he's got Salah and Mane around him, and we know that, listen, if Firmino gets 10 goals at Liverpool, it's not a problem, because Salah's getting 25 and Mane's getting 20. We're still figuring out with Saka, Martinelli, Smith-Rowe, how many goals are they going to get this season? They're not guaranteed 20s. So I think Laka does still need to contribute with the goals. I'm going to give him a 7. I felt he led the line well. Seen him bully Ruben Diaz once. I just wish he would score more. You know, maybe that goal-scoring Lacazette is just not there anymore. That he was in France. Big up Broads in the chat. He said it's weird how Laka doesn't score goals, because I actually think he's got better shooting technique than Aubameyang, but Aubameyang scores more. Listen, he's got tech. You see the way Lacazette controls the ball, hits the ball. You know, he's got lovely technique. I don't think he shoots enough. I don't think Lacazette shoots enough, to be honest. He to me, he's like a shift and bang striker. He's one of them who should just get half a yard and hit it. He doesn't hit the ball enough for me. He used to in France. You go and watch him in the French league, half a yard he was shooting. He looked quick as well. Justice said, Big C, I'm in church and can't wait to listen to you when I get home. Sincerely need this therapy. Much love from Texas. Big up to Justice. Listen, man, this is our own footballing church, you know, of Arsenal and recovery people, you know. But yeah, Laka gets a 7. Snapshot striker, just shift and bang. I think Laka should shoot more. Yeah, lack of shooting. You're right. Yeah, the Tottenham goal. Remember the goal at Tottenham during lockdown? Out of his feet, top corner. But the thing is, you can't buy, as you're saying, you can't buy goal-scoring instinct. Get the ball out your feet, hit it. It's natural. And I think Laka, since he's come to the Premier League, has changed into a different kind of striker. He's much more of a link player. To have a good link striker, you need wingers to kind of get the goals that he doesn't score. At the moment, our wingers are becoming better goal scorers, but they're still not at the heights of your Salahs, your Sons, your Sterlings, your Manes, who get you bags of goals. They're getting strikers' numbers. So, you know, I do think Arsenal need to sign a striker. We need a striker that can score and hold the ball up. Man said, preach, Pastor Curtis. Yeah. Listen, man, you need genuine therapy after you watch Arsenal, you know, real talk. I mean, the substitutes who came on, who even came on? Oh, man. Oh. I mean, I'm going to be kind here. The subs didn't really do anything. You know, El Neni let a ball go underneath his foot. He tried to control it and missed it. And it ended up being a pass. Rob Holding got booked, and, you know, we saw what we saw earlier with his header. Should have cleared the header better. Smith-Rowe wasn't in the game much, so the 3 subs get, 5s? They didn't really do anything. The referee, for me, is the worst ref I've seen all season. You know, even though I have said during this stream, Arsenal should look at themselves more than the ref, because I think we're our own worst enemy. The ref is an absolute embarrassment. He should be in League 2 next week. It used to happen. I don't know if that still happens, you know. You know, if refs were terrible in the Prem, the week after, they'd be in the Championship. You know, they'd move them up and down the leagues. I'm not sure if they still do that. But Stuart Atwell should be in League 2 next week. You know what I mean? Because, as I always said, people, the best refs are the ones you don't talk about. They're the ones who turn up, do their job, and go home. That's a good ref. The worst refs are the ones, me. Look at me on my power trip. You know, when you go in a shop and that security guard thinks he's an army soldier or something, but he's just some little weasel who got a badge and thinks he's, you know, abusing his authority. And Stuart Atwell's one of them guys, isn't he? You know, he loved it. It was all about him. Come here, I'm going to book you because I want to show you how powerful I am. He's a disgrace. He shouldn't be refereeing an Arsenal game for a long time. He was dreadful. Latte, big up to you, bro. Great therapy, Big C, much needed. Honestly, I was going to wait until tomorrow and just do it on Monday, but it felt too... In my mind, it was like, I need to get this off my chest today because I still can't believe what happened. Do you know what makes it worse? Is I have to watch the game again because during the watch along, I don't see the game properly because obviously I'm reading the comments. So I always think before I do the review show, I need to watch the game because I've missed things. So I had to sit there and watch that. And I'm actually sitting there at half time today, even though I know the score. I'm sitting there thinking, yo, what a first half that was. We've just squeezed Manchester City. We literally squeezed them. They couldn't get out. And then second half, it's like, I just reenact all that pain again. Viking Roo said, need more therapy tomorrow. That defeat hurt. We'll be back again tomorrow. Don't you worry. 2 p.m. Monday. I might even try and get a guest on. If not Monday, Tuesday. Obviously, Wednesday will be them building up to the game on Thursday. Still don't understand why we're playing on Thursday. But obviously with the Carabao Cup, we play Liverpool on Thursday, Nottingham Forest next weekend, I think on Sunday. So 2 cup games this week. Janevsky said, Big C, it hurts. We've come so far and then this. And that's the thing with Arsenal, isn't it? It's like you feel like you're there with Arsenal. You get to the point where you're like, right, we're there. It's happening. We're there. We're in the promised land. The light is shining. And when you get there and you start to believe, the light switches off and you resort back to, oh man, here we are again. You know what I mean? Like the Grand Theft Auto picture. Oh, Arsenal, here we go again. You know what I mean? I'm feeling like CJ. Like, what's going on, man? Arsenal, Manchester City, we're there to be beat. I'm with you, bro. I was saying it at half time. I said, if Arsenal win, there's going to be things in that basket on next day delivery. Card details are ready to be typed. You know what I mean? Right now, I don't want nothing to do with merch. No, I'm nowhere near it. You know what I mean? It is a roller coaster of emotion supporting Arsenal. Even though, listen, I'm proud of the performance. I'm still disappointed with the fact we didn't take advantage of a Manchester City that we're there to be beaten. City had played on Thursday. They travelled to London, then back to Manchester, then back to London in the space of 3 days. All that travelling, you know, Cancelo's at right back. The man's been beat up and robbed. They were there. They had youngsters on the bench yesterday. This was a City team that we could beat, you know? But listen, moving forward, it is what it is. We've lost the game. It's going to hurt for a few days. That is for sure. And I just hope that it doesn't hold us back when it comes to the Liverpool game on Thursday, because I would love to see us reach the Carabao Cup final, go to Wembley in March, I believe it is. I think that could have a real lift on the rest of our season. And listen, like I said, when we get battered by teams, City 5-0, Liverpool, we always say, listen, go there, compete, make life difficult. And we made life difficult. I can guarantee Manchester City knew they were in a game yesterday. They've travelled back today. I bet there's some bumps, some bruises, some tired legs. We took everything out of them for them to win that game. It's just a shame how we conceded that winner for them, you know. Polymation said, no more excuses for Arteta if we don't get top 6. Listen, we've got to get top 6. If we don't get top 6, we've got to make a change. Minimum top 6. McKeel said Curtis switched on the light, but Arteta plugged off the power line. I actually really want Arteta to do a press conference for this game, but I'm not sure whether he will. Penalty Spot said, does that guarantee a European place? So the Carabao Cup gets you in the Conference League. FA Cup gets you in the Europa League. So, we don't want to be in the Conference League. So obviously we would need to get top 6 to be in Europa, top 4 for Champions League. One Love saying minimum top 4, you're not having it. I mean, yesterday was even worse for Arsenal because Tottenham scored in the 93rd minute. West Ham won. All of a sudden, that 4th place, we're being hunted down a little bit by United and by Spurs. So we got to handle business, and we play Tottenham in a week or two as well. Rodley said, Curtis and the guys in the chat, we were awesome yesterday. Confidence is great. We are definitely improving. 6 months' time, we'll be a different team. Be patient. Keep the faith. I am Arsenal for 50 years. Big up to Rodders. Always with the positive comments. Sheets of Metal said, what do you think about Rodri not getting the yellow card and celebrating in front of Arsenal fans? The Rodri celebration is... It's one of them celebrations that when a player does that against your team, you want to punch him in the face. I looked at Rodri yesterday, I thought, you know what, mate, I want to jab you on the nose. But if a player does that for your team, you like it. It's that part of football that you can't hate on. You don't want to take that out of football, man. It's personality. I've seen Henry knee slide in front of Tottenham fans. They're throwing bottles at him. Who cares? It's part of the game. They do it against you. You got to take it. It's horrible. You know what I mean? It's horrible. Sometimes you got to take your medicine. He scored a 93rd minute winner away from home. Fair play to him. You can't hate on it. As much as it hurts, you can't hate on it. I'm more angry at the fact the referee didn't book him in the first half. That's what I'm more angry about when he took out Saka. Because he was clattering us all second half. If he gets that yellow card in the first half and he knows he's on that yellow, I don't think he's putting in those challenges in the second half. Lionel said he hates Rodri. It's part of the game, man. It's part of the game, Diego Costa was another one. Pantomime villain. I got to be honest. I always used to look at Diego Costa and think, I'd love to have him at Arsenal. Everyone hated him, but I actually always wanted a horrible striker like Diego Costa at Arsenal. It's one of them. I'm telling you, man, I wanted to jab him, but it is what it is. It's part of football, innit? Now, Adebayor, that's a different level. That's a different convo. Speaking of Arsenal strikers, people, remember this man? A certain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Newcastle have been in contact with Arsenal over a loan deal for Aubameyang with an option to buy in the summer for £20 million. I want to know your thoughts, people. I want to know your thoughts. I've said many times, I would not let Aubameyang go on loan anywhere where there isn't an obligation to buy him. The problem is, Newcastle can't put an obligation into that deal probably because they could be in the Championship. You know what I mean? They could be in the Championship. So I would be saying, listen, I want an obligation that if you stay in the Premier League, you have to buy him. But if you get relegated, you don't buy him. Would you let Aubameyang go to Newcastle, people? Let me know. Noel said, big up Curtis, I agree with you. Poor FES, but did management bottle it? We could have gone to 3-4-2 as we were still in with a chance. South London's finally said obligation only. Penalty spot has to be an obligation if they stay up. Navarre said Aubameyang who? Obligation or no deal? 100%. The problem you've got, FT Music said 1 year left, 20 million is a great deal. If you don't get a decent offer for Aubameyang, let's say clubs are just saying, listen, mate, loan with an option or leave it. Then what do you do? Because Mikel Arteta clearly wants him out of the club. So the problem is, I think in the end, Arsenal are going to accept something that to the fan base is going to look very, weak. You're going to be like, what? How are you loaning out Aubameyang with an option to buy? He's way too established for that kind of deal. I think Arsenal will be looking at him thinking, he's got a year left in the summer. He's on 300 grand. They don't want him at the club. I think a Newcastle or someone like that. And let me say now, I think Aubameyang would be a brilliant signing for Newcastle, because they play counter-attack. So can you imagine like Aubameyang, Saint Maximum, and Callum Wilson or someone? That's not a bad attacking trio for them. So I think he would actually do well there. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think now, I mean, even me, you know me, people. I'm a big fan of Oba, but I just think with this manager, I don't see a way back for him. I'd love there to be. I'd love nothing more than see Aubameyang come back, score a great goal, do a front flip in front of the North Bank, and everyone's singing his name again. But, I just can't see that happening. Aubameyang won't go to Newcastle. Listen, money talks, man, and he likes gold Lamborghinis. If that owner says, listen, I tell you what, you come here, we'll pay you all your wages, and if you keep us up, we'll give you 5 million. Or something crazy like that. Money talks, people. Money talks. Imagine the drip with him and Saint Maximum. Jeez, Gucci headbands, all kinds of hair extensions going on up front. Add Holding to the deal. Oh, man, we should have sold him long time ago. We'll give you 10 Lambos. Offloading his wages would be ideal and free up so much funds. And the wage is probably as big as the transfer fee. Even if Arsenal get 15, 20 million for him, it's about getting 300 grand a week off the wage bill, which, I think 14, 15 million a season off the wages. So I think that's where it is. Drip FC, man, I'm telling you. Fendi sliders. Curtis Spot on Arteta will not let him back. It just seems to me the way the conversation is going, the way Arteta is talking about him. It's interesting that Arteta did an interview with Rio Ferdinand and he seemed a little bit more open to the way he was answering the question about Aubameyang. Maybe it was because it was Ferdinand and he respects him a little bit more than a newspaper journalist. But he was sort of saying, it's a difficult situation for me. I didn't want to take the armband off him. It's not personal, but I had no choice because he crossed the line, So I kind of wish Arteta would say a bit more, but, clubs don't want to say everything sometimes. Make sure you subscribe, people. 1,450 of you in the chat. Great numbers on this Sunday. I will be out of here in a couple of minutes, as we know. Chelsea play Liverpool in around 5 minutes' time. So I'll leave you all to watch that. And like I said, I will be back with the neutral watch-alongs from next week. Just decided over Christmas and New Year to just do Arsenal. So let me know your thoughts, people, on Aubameyang. Soon Laka will join Aubameyang on his way out. Pepe too, who replaces them. And as I said, it's all right selling. You've got to replace. Kevin said Chelsea have their own Aubameyang problem, Lukaku. I mean, yeah, I saw Lukaku's been left out of the squad today for his interview that he came out with. I mean, that interview is wild. That is absolutely wild. Member stream will be tomorrow. What time am I going to... We'll do the member stream later. So we'll do the 2 o'clock show. We'll do the member stream after because a lot of people... I'm just trying to think what the best time... Look out for the community page. Member stream is tomorrow, though. I want to know your thoughts, people. I'd take Lukaku all day long. Diego said, big up Big C. The smaller wages from the summer transfers and offloading bigger wages like Aubameyang will have us primed for a top summer. One thing that I thought was very interesting, that at the time I didn't really like it, but now I'm understanding it a little bit more. When Edu did that interview, he said we're putting in the foundations this year, and next year it will be less about numbers and more about the quality. And I can see that now. I do have to give Edu a little bit of credit for what he said there, because I look at it now and I think, right, we signed about 5 or 6 players in the summer. This summer coming, I think Arsenal need 2 or 3 players, but they need to be top level. We need a £70 million striker. We need a top quality centre mid to play next to Partey. So I do kind of get what he's saying there. Nick said Lukaku, Aubameyang swap deal. I'd be all over that. Absolutely all over it. The amount of crosses we put in We would thrive off having a physical presence up there. And Thomas Tuchel loves Aubameyang, by the way. He's always singing his praises. But it's the age difference, isn't it? Aubameyang's nearly 33. I think Lukaku's 28, 29. Chelsea wouldn't do that. Neves said, the Gooner, centre midfielder, definitely. We need a ball player, definitely. I actually think we need to sign a midfielder this month. January transfer window is open now, and we will start doing transfer talk tomorrow. People, 4 minutes until the game kicks off, so I'm going to let you get out of here. We'll go and watch this Chelsea against Liverpool game. Thank you very much for all of you tuning in on this wonderful Sunday. Although, still hurts that Arsenal got beat for Manchester City. This has been Arsenal Therapy. We will be back. We'll continue tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be more fallout and more conversation tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Lick that like button on the way out. Player ratings for Earpod Albert. I'll give him an 8. It was nearly perfection, but not quite. He was nearly there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care, and I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.